staying with us right here on the program. The presidential campaign of the Labour Party is worried about the trend of recent attacks on its campaign organization. Tonight, we shall be speaking with the Director General of Peter Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council, Chief Akin Osuntokun. Thank you so much indeed for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
What is going on? Your campaign came under attack twice in Katsina.
No, you know, there are several perspectives from which you can look at what happened there. One, of course, is that within the general context of widespread security breakdown in society, on which a state like Katsina is one of the hotbeds, there's nothing surprising to that extent that violence, it was a state that had been particularly prone to violence. You know, the violence was up to a degree that the governor had to openly ask his people to arm themselves individually, right, to defend themselves. That was the extent to which Katsina State has attained notoriety, you know, as a hotbed of violence. The other state is Zamfara. Both of them are unique in that respect. Security is the primary function of the state. It's a symptom of complete state failure. If the government there then say, no, I'm shifting this responsibility to you. But there's also the temptation to say that it was a backlash, you know, against the successful rally that we had in Kano the previous day, right? A lot of people were surprised what happened in Kano took them by surprise. They have become captives of their own imagination that Kano is the stronghold of so and so. Nobody, if he goes there, is nobody. But the myth was exploded, you know, by the turnout at Kano, and it was organic and authentic. So, of course, there are some politicians of a particular bent of mind, you know, who are used to thuggery and violence, and who want to stop that momentum, you know. So I would really put it past those kind of people to organize the kind of mob violence that we experienced there. But it wasn't as if that mob violence was, it did not overwhelm the campaign. We had nonetheless had a successful rally there. You know, a tumultuous welcome, both inside and out when we were going. And then even when Nigeria was relatively peaceful, that sort of incidents of people throwing stones at convoys has always been there. You know, in that, I remember Katsina particularly, you know, was Katsina and Kano. They are prone to, and these are young people, there are not many who do this kind of thing.
Does this kind of scenario give your campaign the need to change strategy?
How? What is the strategy?
If there was an attack, yes, and these were spots of twice within that same state has been reported, you don't think that there's a need? It happened on Monday. Today is Wednesday. You don't think that you need to change? Make some move to avert any recurrence?
No, it is the duty of the security agencies in Nigeria to protect and secure you and I. If I cannot go on my normal schedule of duty or walk around with freedom, which exercise my freedom, right to freedom, to assembly, to associate, that's not a problem for me to solve. It's a problem of the government of the day. There is a sad commentary on that when you can no longer protect your citizens. Now, especially those rallies, before you go to a rally, you inform the security agencies about that you are coming. And when you do that your part, it is their duty to give you adequate security and protection. So whatever happened in Katsina, the security agencies there, although I think they handled it well at the end of the day, but it is not for you, for me, you and I as citizens or political parties to circumscribe our freedom in order to say that we don't want to be. I don't see it that way. There's nothing there's no style to our campaign that should attract violence, I don't see anything. So we have no role to play, right, in preventing that kind of occurrence. That we have no role to play in it. Today we are in Gombe. In the same way we have been to every place. So it's not in Gombe. Nobody stole the convoy or anything. This is not our duty to do. We did not offend anybody.
The Katsina state, and without making any inference, is the home state of the sitting president.
Yes, it is. And he has also experienced security attack there. The last attack on his convoy, I think, resulted in the death of 2 security men, or when they were shot. I'm not sure. But there was a report to that effect that his convoy was attacked. And even while he was there at another time, when he arrived at Katsina or Daura, the terrorists or bandits chose to make a point by going to a school, secondary or primary school, cutting away all the students there into the bush, to make that point that regardless of the presence of the president of the country, they were able to do that. So again, so you see the extent to what I'm saying. Who is better secure, or who should feel better secure than the president of the country? I remember when he was coming in saying that security is his first priority. Well, and he's right. I mean, the reason of the state, the first thing that you have to of a state, the reason they tell of any state is the security. But under this government, we have witnessed, the aberration of the past 7 years, on which all these security crises keep blowing up all over the place.
Let's talk about the race generally. We are 30 days away. Some people have described your candidate as a disruptor. Some of the candidates and the spokesperson on this program have said he doesn't have a real chance, but he's a disruptor to the process. But before I allow you to answer that question, there was a peace committee meeting, but your candidate was absent, and a lot of people were wondering what really happened. Was there any reason why he was absent from that meeting?
No, I remember I said that if they have been to earlier meetings, that if the other candidates are not going to be coming, there's no point in going there, all alone or with one other person. That was what he said at that time. There was nothing against, he had nothing particularly against.
So that was his stance for not attending. He thought that maybe other candidates were not going to be there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and there was only the only person who attended was the presidential candidate of the APC, who was caught sleeping. By the way.
There were other presidential candidates that attended. Showora was there. Al-Mustafa was there. Kola Abiola was there. Quite a number of them.
Okay, so I take your point. He wasn't there. Okay. I can't seek any.
All right. So the question I was raising earlier is the fact that your candidate has been described as a disruptor who doesn't have the real chance of winning this election. With the manner in which things are going right now, does your party or your campaign feel have that kind of feeling going into this election?
You see, this is what everybody has been saying since the beginning. The last time I came here, we raised the same issue. In the beginning, it's also say this is the same, we are just rooted on the spot. People can deceive themselves. I'm sure that if anybody told them that we will have a rally in Kano the other day and have that kind of turnout, they will say, no, he has no real chance. And then in any case, those who did the scientific investigation, the pollsters, out of maybe 7 or 8, they consistently scored him as a front runner. Now, it is a strange phenomenon in the politics of Nigeria. There is a stark contrast, between him and what is happening. Now, there's no point in going there, all alone or with one other person. That was what he said at that time. There is nothing. There was nothing against. He had nothing particularly against.
So that was his stance for not attending. He thought that maybe other candidates were not going to be there.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, and there was only the only person who attended was the presidential candidate of the APC, who was caught sleeping. By the way,
there were other presidential candidates that attended. Showora was there. Al Mustafa was there. Kola Abiola was there. Quite a number of them.
Okay, so I take your point. He wasn't there. Okay. I can't seek any.
All right. So the question I was raising earlier is the fact that your candidate has been described as a disruptor who doesn't have the real chance of winning this election. With the manner in which things are going right now, does your party or your campaign feel have that kind of feeling going into this election?
You see, this is what everybody has been saying since the beginning. The last time I came here, we raised the same issue. In the beginning, it's also say this is the same. We are just rooted on the spot. People can deceive themselves. I'm sure that if anybody told them that we will have a rally in Kano the other day and have that kind of turnout, they will say, no, he has no real chance. And then in any case, those who did the scientific investigation, the pollsters, out of maybe 7 or 8, they consistently scored him as a front runner. Now, it is a strange phenomenon in the politics of Nigeria. There is a stark contrast, between him and what is happening. Now, you use the word disruptor, right?
That's one of the.
Yes,
one of my guests.
And you're absolutely correct. What he has come to disrupt is the kind of engagement the APC and the PDP, the revelations they have made of one another. Who is the bigger thief? Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. It's revealing. By themselves, they were telling Nigerians who they are. There is no earthly reason why any Nigeria in the past 2 weeks who hear the kind of information those people are trading between themselves and claim to look forward to a Nigeria in which either of them will be president. Remember, I was watching, you yourself, I don't need to tell you, you know what they were saying about. They've taking themselves to court, right? Calling themselves criminal, ganglands, drug lords.
That perhaps helps your campaign, isn't it?
Exactly. That is where the disruptor, that scenario that we have just needs to be disrupted for the sake of Nigeria. They kept on building, reinforcing their unsuitability for the presidency of Nigeria. The ticket, and it started from the composition of their ticket in the first place. That of PDP against the run of a facility that had demonstrated the potential to stabilize the politics of Nigeria. That is the rotation of power between North and South. He brazenly went against it. Not only that, he then reinforced the cleavage. What he did, by having the chairman of the party as from the North, the director general of the campaign from the North. So he wants you to know that as far as he's concerned, this idea of rotation or balance is a non-starter. The other one, right? What he gave with the right hand, he took back with the left. There was a rotation to the South to the presidential candidate who is a Muslim. And then he deliberately, under no duress, right, went and chose another Muslim, right, to be his running mate. So you see, there are two sides of the same coin.
Let's anchor on this note, and quickly, so we have just about 30 or 40 seconds to close the program. And is on this point, those who have fears that this election will be determined by deep pockets, those who have the money. Chief Afebabala said that much. Has that reality come to your campaign? That this is something you need to prepare for?
Well, yes, of course. Prepare for it to change as much as possible, to change that culture, right? Look, it's a sad commentary on Nigeria. If money, and then it's not money spent legitimately. It's money spent to corrupt the system, to corrupt. So, but whether that is intended or not, the currency change, the monetary policy that has just been, seems to anticipate this kind of behavior. We'll see to what extent it will.